Hello, hello, everybody. It's Casey. Welcome back to the Inspire Fitness Podcast. I'm happy that you're here today. As always, this podcast episode will be dropping on Friday. So happy Friday to all of you. Hope you've had a wonderful week. And here we are, halfway through the entire first month of the new year. And I hope you are doing well and staying focused on your goals, whatever those might be. I hope things are going really, really well for you. We are talking more about protein today. My last podcast episode was very much in demand, and all week I've been talking about protein. I actually created a free downloadable guide called the Protein Cheat Sheet that has been kind of a popular thing as well. So I'll talk a little bit about where you can find that on my website, and it is linked in the show notes. If you want to go ahead and download the Protein Cheat Sheet, I welcome you to do that. And also today we're going to talk more specifically about what I would not do related to hitting my protein targets if I was working towards fat loss, and the ways I would kind of go about not focusing on my protein. So as a woman who is over the age of 40, who is working towards fat loss, it is essential. It is so important that you prioritize your protein intake. As a reminder, we need this to help increase our satiety. So you will feel more full and satisfied eating in a calorie deficit if you are making protein a priority. And it's also hugely helpful for you to maintain your lean muscle mass while you lose fat. So if you're eating in a calorie deficit, you want to spare all the muscle that you have on your body that is possible, and eating enough protein and sufficient amounts of protein will help you do that. Okay. So it might still feel hard getting that protein intake up and prioritizing protein in your day to day, day after day after day. It may feel challenging for you, but we really want to work on creating the habit. And you may find that it is You may find that some of the things I say here resonate with you, maybe not in a good way, because maybe it's something that you have been doing and you didn't realize it was only hurting your long-term results. But this is coming from a place of love, and I want to help you, and I want you to not feel overwhelmed. I know that this can be a frustrating thing when you're trying to make changes and you're not exactly sure what you should be doing. So this is not about shame. This is about clarity and maybe making a few small changes to help significantly increase your success with your fat loss. So today we're talking about 10 things I would not do to hit my protein target. And this is specifically for women over the age of 40 who are working towards fat loss. Number one, I would not assume that 2 eggs is a high protein breakfast. Okay. So 2 eggs, depending on the size, if they are smaller or larger, approximately 12 to 14 grams of protein. Most women need more like 30 to 40 grams of protein per meal in order to hit their daily targets. So eggs are a base. Yes, they can be worked in. You can enjoy eggs, but it is not the whole meal. And so what I would do instead here is I would add some egg whites to the 2 eggs that I am cooking, or I would add some cottage cheese to the scrambled eggs that I'm making, or I would have a little bit of Greek yogurt on the side, or I might even have a small protein shake with my eggs. 2 eggs is a great base. It is not the whole meal. I would not rely on number two, protein bars as my main source or as even a decent filler, honestly. Many bars are pretty much candy with protein marketing, okay? They're often low satiety, so they don't help me feel full and satisfied. They're easy to overconsume, and often many of them have just as many carbs as they do protein, and then you're also adding some added sugars or fat to make it taste better, right? So as a treat, fine. As a like, I am traveling and I just can throw this into my pocket or into my backpack, fine. But if you're relying on those protein bars most days or consuming them pretty frequently, there certainly are a lot better options that you can offer that you can take. So go for real food first. I'm talking like if you're at a gas station, you could grab a cheese stick and maybe some turkey jerky, right? Or you could take a ready to go yogurt or maybe a sample or an individual container of cottage cheese. You could also grab some hard-boiled eggs. I know the gas station I'm thinking of when I'm traveling, they've got hard-boiled eggs in a little packet ready to go. So real food first is a better option than a lot of the protein bars. Number three, what I would not do is I would not skip protein earlier and save it up for dinner. Many of my women recognize this when they start consuming or trying to consume additional protein. They often find themselves digging a hole. If I don't hit my 30 to 40 grams of protein at breakfast, guess what? All day long, I feel behind the eight ball. And then it's really, really difficult to catch up later in the day. So, skipping protein all day means cravings and overeating later. Typically, it can also lead to blood sugar chaos. You're not regulating that blood sugar as you would if you were consuming protein consistently across all meals. So, that's what I would do, prioritize protein at every meal and try not to bank it for later in the day. It makes it really difficult to hit that total if that's what you're doing. The other thing I would not do, number four, is I would not think that I am probably getting enough without checking. Okay. This is an assumption, and you know what happens when we assume. Many women underestimate protein intake, and awareness creates change. Awareness informs us of where are the gaps and what am I doing and how can I improve upon that. So you don't have to log and track every single day for the entirety of the rest of your life, right? But track for a short window or use that protein first rule. Okay. Those numbers can be hugely eye opening, even if you only commit to doing it to about 3 to 5 days. I promise you it will help increase your awareness, which therefore can inform your decisions. Number five, I would not be afraid to eat a bigger portion of chicken or other kinds of lean meat protein options. Okay. Undereating protein slows your fat loss. If you're not hitting the target, it is going to be more difficult for you to do that. It is okay to increase the portions, even though you're trying to cut back on your calories. I promise you, doing so is number one, going to fuel your muscles. It will help you maintain your lean muscle mass. It will help you feel more full and satisfied on fewer calories, especially in those lean options. That calorie to protein ratio is in your favor. So if you add an extra ounce or two to your already lean protein source, that can make the difference of you hitting the target or falling shy of 20 to 30 grams every single day. Think about this. A deck of cards is about the size of 3 ounces of a protein source, okay? Most women to hit their protein targets probably need more like 5 to 6 ounces of that protein. So take a deck of cards on your plate and double it and double it. Okay. Make sure you're adding vegetables and other high fiber foods. You can have some healthy carbohydrates on your plate, but that portion can be smaller and you're increasing the portion of your higher protein option. I would also not avoid protein because I don't like the taste. Okay. Taste can be modified with seasonings and different ways of cooking the food. Texture can be changed. Okay. I get it. A lot of you are like, I wish I liked cottage cheese. It would be such a great option. Guess what? You can put it in the blender and you can blend it and you can mix it in almost like it will like be invisible in the foods that you're adding pretty much. Okay. So you can blend it and that completely changes the texture, which sometimes really helps your palatability of that product. Now, I will say this, some foods you just don't like, and I don't care if it's like the best protein source in the world. If you do not like it, you do not have to eat it. There are a lot of options, okay? Tuna is one of those things for me. I think tuna is one of the easiest, best ways to get in your protein. Like it's such a lean source. There's a great calorie to protein ratio. I almost vomit when I eat tuna fish. And I wish I didn't have to say that, but I do. And so, am I going to force myself to eat something that really I dislike very, very strongly? Absolutely not. And I don't want you to do that either. But think about ways that you could change that texture or change that taste, maybe a different cooking method that would make that more palatable. I have not found a way to do that with tuna fish. Sorry, it's just not happening. I go towards other options, okay? But think about ways that you could make that adjustment. um, Number seven, I would not skip protein on my busiest of days, okay? Yes, it may not look perfect, but the busy days are when those habits matter the most. And you are laying that foundation for following through, even on the most difficult days. Okay. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Maybe you did not meal prep and you did not have something already planned out. guess what? You can rely on protein shakes or a rotisserie chicken or deli meat or string cheese, something that's quick and easy. You can go grab these foods at a convenience store or a local grocery store on your way home from work. You can make it happen even on the busiest of days, but don't just throw in the towel and don't just start saying like, well, I didn't get it, planned and it's not all perfect and I don't want to have to use a convenient option. Like, baloney. That's what those options are for on our busiest of days. Okay. Um, I would not treat vegetarian protein as an afterthought. I think it's great to work in some plant-based protein options, but those require intention sometimes and having those ahead of time. So things like edamame or lentils or tempeh or tofu, these can be a wonderful addition to your diet, whether or not you are following a vegetarian meal plan, but they do require a little bit of thinking about them, right? Edamame is one that I think is a great option, especially those little roasted edamame. They come in a little package or individual packages. I think this is a great option. Plus, they're a good source of fiber. So, if you're going to cook the edamame, yes, perhaps that requires a little bit more thinking about ahead of time. Um, but you can definitely work in some vegetarian options, especially if you're somebody who doesn't like a lot of meat or you're trying to cut back for whatever reason. Number nine, I would not eat carbs first and hope that my protein fits. Okay, so this strategy can come into play for a client who maybe wants to pre-log, and I talk about pre-logging with my clients very often because it's a great way to plan ahead and make sure that you are thinking about incorporating more protein. So you can pre-log your day the day before and kind of see, well, play around a little bit. If I add this, if I take this out, if I go a little bit bigger or smaller portion of this, how do those numbers change? If you're logging and tracking, this can be a great strategy. But don't just go for what's easy and what's there and what's quick and load up on that first and then think about protein as an afterthought. It's not going to find its way magically to your plate, okay? It has to be intentional. And that's why we are doing this challenge within the Inspired Nutrition community to prioritize your protein first. And when you think about building the meal around the protein first, you are so much more likely to hit your protein targets in the long run. Number 10, I would not aim for perfection. Okay. That all or nothing mentality can really just wipe out your consistency and your momentum. So we have to let that go. I would aim for what can I do that was better than yesterday? Or if yesterday was not so good, like when is my very next meal? When is the next opportunity for me to prioritize protein so I can stay on the track and make myself get to a better place eventually? Okay. All or nothing. Perfection is not it's not helping you. You know this, right? And so we have to recognize like there are going to be days where we just don't hit the mark and we don't even think about protein because something came up at that meal and I just need to survive this moment, right? This is going to happen. And if you can be okay with that and know that these things will happen. Now, if it's every day, we need to make some changes in the lifestyle, right? Like why is every day so chaotic? But if it's on occasion, a busy work day, maybe a sick family member, maybe a small emergency came up, like whatever it is, it's okay. And you got to just let it go. And then very next day, like focus on what is the very next meal? Where is the next opportunity that I can get myself back on track? Okay. So the big takeaway here is that protein is so important for your success with your fat loss, especially for us women over the age of 40. It's not about willpower. It is about structure and creating that habit and developing that routine. And it is really about starting every single meal with protein. And think about it as in like, I want to get like my normal protein intake is going to be around 30 to 40 grams. Like that can happen. It might be boring, but guess what? It's repeatable and it is reliable. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you're going to be with that amount of protein and prioritizing it and putting it on your plate first. It will get easier with time. So, this is exactly what we're talking about within the Inspired Nutrition community. We're not focusing on extremes or obsession, just prioritizing that habit of protein first at our meal and protein at every meal challenge. Yes, eventually. I want you to hit that 30 to 40 grams of protein target. But starting right now, let's just continue to think about protein at every single meal. And that's where that magic happens, right? Like it doesn't change overnight, but day after day and creating these habits is really what is going to help you be the most successful. So I would like to encourage all of you to think about protein first with your meals. If you need some help and some ideas and suggestions, maybe you don't even know how much protein you should be aiming for in a day, go download the protein cheat sheet. I welcome you to do that. The link is right below in the show notes. And if you're like, I really need a lot more support and guidance on this, come on and join us in Inspire Nutrition. I welcome you. The door is always open. And right now, we are really emphasizing a protein first mentality. We are working on building those habits for the long term. And if you want to get in on that support, I welcome you. Reach out to me on my socials, fit.nutritionist or Casey Young RD CPT on Facebook. You can also find me on my website, inspirehw.com. I welcome you to reach out. And especially if you find this episode to be helpful, I would love to hear that. And I would love for you to share it with a friend or someone that you think may find it helpful as well. So thank you so much for listening today, everyone. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day. Have a great weekend, and I will look forward to seeing you back here next time on the podcast. Thank you so much.